Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another Star Wars movie review, everybody. And today we're moving on to the one that started this all off in 1977, Star Wars, everybody. That's right, as it was known back then, just Star Wars. But now, today, it's called Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4, everybody. Because, yeah, back then when it first came out, it literally was just Star Wars. There was no episodes, none of that business. So this movie is directed by George Lucas and written by George Lucas also. So there's a funny thing about this movie because George actually had a hell of a time selling this and pitching this movie to movie studios back when he was trying to get a movie studio to greenlight this project so he could make this movie. And finally, 20th Century Fox took a chance and rolled the dice, and oh boy, I know they were happy they rolled the dice with this movie franchise, because this original trilogy turned out to be one of the biggest and most popular movie trilogies to date still. So 20th Century Fox, they were the lucky ones that bit the bullet, and they most definitely were very happy about it because Star Wars is huge today. Massive still today. No matter how the movies are turning out, it's still one of the biggest movie properties that exists. So yes, George Lucas written and directed this movie. Great, phenomenal cast in this movie. We had a bunch of newcomers at the time when this movie was coming out, and this also helped usher in the big blockbuster era of movies, along with Jaws, which came out 2 years before this. And then this came out, and the big blockbuster era of movies most definitely started after this first Star Wars movie came out. So, our stars in the movie, we had Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker. Very young actor. It most definitely kicked his acting career into high gear after this movie came out. He's great as Luke in this original trilogy and this movie. He's a farm boy that finds out that he actually is kind of a part of a bigger world that he didn't know about, and turns into a hero by the end of the movie. Awesome character. We have Harrison Ford playing Han Solo, everybody. He was kind of a known actor at this point. Like, he'd been in American Graffiti, which is another George Lucas movie. But yeah, he was kind of one of the known actors that was in this, but he wasn't like huge yet. But he's great as Harrison Ford, the smuggler. God, he's great as Harrison Ford. As Han Solo, they couldn't have picked a better person to play him. Carrie Fisher, another newcomer, plays Princess Leia. She is great in the movie. She's awesome. I love her interaction with freaking Han and Luke when they first meet her on the Death Star. It's pretty funny. Alec Guinness, everybody, the great Alec Guinness plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, my favorite Jedi, obviously. Yeah, he's phenomenal as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He does a fantastic job. We have Peter Mayhew playing Chewbacca. Love me some Chewbacca. Chewbacca is one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Obviously, he doesn't talk, so he's just a man behind a costume, and then they put in the sound effects. Anthony Daniels plays C-3PO. We have Kenny Baker playing R2-D2 when he's just walking around and not rolling. James Earl Jones and David Prowse, everybody, played Darth Vader. James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, but we have to give respect to the late, great David Prowse, everybody, who actually was the physical Darth Vader in all of the original trilogy movies. You gotta give the guy his respect. It's needed. He did not get respect through the years for playing the physical aspect of Darth Vader, because he even did the voice acting when they filmed, and then they put James Earl Jones's voice over it. So you gotta give the guy his respect. He's big, brooding. He makes Darth Vader scary, like he does. And then we also have another late great, Peter Cushing, everybody, plays Tarkin, everyone. The guy that's kind of basically the head, like, admiral, general guy on the Death Star and stuff right below Vader. So This movie is phenomenal. For one thing, I think I know when every time I go back and rewatch A New Hope, the older I get, I feel like I enjoy it almost just as much as Empire Strikes Back. And because it's a damn good movie. For one thing, it's just a fun adventure movie where we get to meet some these awesome characters that they partner up, become friends, and they end up going on this fun action adventure where they have to escape this Death Star that they are going to rescue the princess and all this stuff. And it really creates for some really fun sequences once they all get together and they get on that Death Star. Really fun stuff, actually. And the world building and the mythology building that this first Star Wars movie did, I mean, they introduce us to the Rebel Alliance, the Empire with Vader, and the Sith, and the Emperor, even though you don't see the Emperor in this movie. They introduce us to how the Force works, and the Jedi, and the Sith. Like, there's so much world building that is done in this movie, like, with our characters, our locations, like, everything. It's just crazy the world building that this first Star Wars movies did. Like, awesome. Like, George did a phenomenal job putting this movie together. It flows great. The story is awesome. If you look at the story, it's kind of simple, but it's not at the same time because of the stakes that are at risk and everything. But it's also kind of a simple story because it's a story about some rebellious people that are trying to defeat this empire, and we meet this farm boy who he gets told that he's a part of something bigger, and he ends up becoming a hero at the end. And it's this pretty simple, straightforward story with some pretty big stakes and everything. And you got to talk about John Williams. John Williams' score in this first Star Wars movie laid the groundwork for all the other shit that he would do in all the other Star Wars movies, except for Solo and Rogue One. He did not do the music in those two movies, even though I think the composers that did the music in those did a great job keeping the spirit of what John Williams did in all the episodic Star Wars movies, because he did all the music in all 9 episode movies. So, and this is one where he laid the groundwork, the songs that we come to know and love, like the Force theme, just the Star Wars theme in general. And that's the thing, when this movie starts, that opening crawl sequence, that had never been done like that before, ever. There was no opening credits with the stars, the producers, anything like that. I don't know if it is the first movie, but I think it is the first movie that it did not open a movie that way. It had this opening crawl with the title and like the beginning parts of the movie to get you caught up to where this is and everything. And like I said when I reviewed Rogue One, you could watch Rogue One and then immediately put this movie in, and they're back to back, like 10, maybe 20 minutes apart. That is it, and I love that. I love that. So the first Star Wars movie is great. I think, like I said, the older I get, I feel like I enjoy it more. I loved watching it as a kid. It's just a fun adventure movie with some awesome characters, does great world building. So I'm going to give the first Star Wars a 9 out of 10. I really think it's good. I think some people forget, because of how great The Empire Strikes Back is, that this first Star Wars movie was actually pretty damn good. So a 9 out of 10 for Star Wars A New Hope, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that review. Thanks for watching, and I'll be catching you on the tube later, because I have spoken.